You know what keeps even Palpatine up at night? It's not the Jedi. It's not some ancient Sith prophecy. It's a coven of witches from a blood-red planet who can literally raise the dead with a flick of their pale fingers. I'm talking about the Night Sisters of Dathomir. And trust me, by the end of this video, you'll understand why they're the most uniquely terrifying group in all of Star Wars. If you've watched the Clone Wars, played Jedi Fallen Order, or caught that spine-chilling moment in Ahsoka when the Great Mothers appeared, you already know there's something deeply unsettling about these Force-wielding witches. But what is it exactly that makes them so different from every other dark side user we've encountered? See, the thing about the Night Sisters is that they operate on a completely different wavelength than both Jedi and Sith. They're not following some ancient code. They're not seeking ultimate power through the dark side alone. They're practicing something far older, far stranger, and, honestly, way more disturbing. Today, we're going to explore what makes these witches the stuff of galactic nightmares. Let's start with the basics, but not in a boring way. When we think of dark side users, we think of red lightsabers, force lightning, maybe some dramatic cape billowing. The Night Sisters, they threw that playbook out completely. These women practice something called magick. And yes, it's spelled with a K, because this isn't your standard force manipulation. While Jedi meditate and connect with the living force, and Sith channel hatred and aggression, the Night Sisters tap into something called the Ether. It's this eerie, glowing green mist that flows through Dathomir like blood through veins. When they cast their spells, this stuff literally swirls around them, creating nightmare-inducing visuals that feel more like something out of a horror movie than Star Wars. What really sets them apart is their connection to death itself. Jedi become one with the Force when they die, appearing as peaceful Force ghosts. The Night Sisters, they keep their dead sisters hanging in pods from twisted trees, and when needed, they can bring them back as shrieking, glowing-eyed zombies. We saw this in the Clone Wars during the episode Massacre. And let me tell you, watching those corpses sprint toward battle droids with that unholy scream is something that sticks with you. The Night Sisters exist in this gray area that the rest of the galaxy can't quite comprehend. They're not Jedi. They're definitely not Sith. They're something older, something that predates both orders. And that unknown factor is part of what makes them so unnerving. Okay, let's talk about what these witches can actually do. Because their power set reads like a list of things that should absolutely not be possible in the Star Wars universe. First up, necromancy. Not figurative necromancy. Actual, honest-to-goodness, raising the dead. Old Daka demonstrated this in the Clone Wars when she resurrected an entire army of fallen Night Sisters to fight General Grievous's droids. These weren't peaceful spirits offering wisdom like Yoda or Obi-Wan. These were reanimated corpses with one purpose: destroy anything in their path. The way they moved, all jerky and unnatural at first, then suddenly sprinting with that bone-chilling screech, it's pure nightmare fuel. But wait, it gets worse. They can also possess living people. Remember in Rebels when Kanan and Sabine got possessed by Night Sister spirits on Dathomir? Their eyes glowed that sickly green, and suddenly they were attacking their own friends with supernatural strength. The idea that these spirits can hijack your body even years after death adds a whole new layer of horror. Then there's their transformation abilities. We saw Mother Talzin turn Savage Opress from a regular Night Brother warrior into an absolute monster with just a spell and the tap of one finger. The Ichor flowed into him, his body twisted and grew, and by the end, he was powerful enough to take on Jedi Masters. More recently, in Ahsoka, the Great Mothers performed a similar ritual on Morgan Elsbeth, giving her those distinctive pale markings and amplifying her power significantly. The potions and elixirs they brew are equally disturbing. Some can make you nearly invisible, others can control minds, and some are just straight-up poisons that can drop even the most powerful Force users. They're basically mixing dark side magic with what looks like medieval alchemy, and the results are consistently terrifying. What makes all of this worse is how effortless it seems. Mother Talzin could summon these powers with just a wave of her clawed hands, chanting in that ancient tongue while green mist swirled around her. No lightsaber ignition, no dramatic buildup, just sudden, overwhelming dark magic. And if we're talking about what makes the Night Sisters terrifying, we need to talk about their leaders, because these women were powerful enough to make even Palpatine nervous. Mother Talzin was the clan mother during the Clone Wars, and she was on a completely different level than most Force users we'd encountered. She united all the Night Sister clans, turned them into a legitimate threat, and actively schemed against both Count Dooku and Darth Sidious himself. Think about that for a second. She was playing chess with the two most powerful Sith in the galaxy and holding her own. Palpatine was so threatened by her that he made sure she was completely wiped out. That's not something he did lightly. Her appearance alone was unsettling. That ghastly, pale skin, those sunken eyes, those long claw-like fingers used to channel her magic. But it was her power that truly set her apart. She could manipulate reality itself, create visions across vast distances, and even manifest physically through the Force in ways we'd never seen before. Then, Ahsoka introduced us to the Great Mothers. And somehow, they're even more concerning. 3 ancient Night Sisters, Clothau, Atropos, and Laxus, deliberately named after the Greek Fates, who control destiny itself. That's not subtle, and it's not an accident. They've been on Peridea, the Night Sisters' ancient homeworld, for potentially thousands of years. They claim to read the threads of fate and destiny, which suggests they might operate on a level of power and knowledge even Mother Talzin couldn't reach. They aligned themselves with Thrawn, helped orchestrate his return, and pursued their own mysterious agenda. And the fact that they're transporting cargo from their catacombs back to the main galaxy, cargo that looks suspiciously like coffins, suggests they're planning something big. Probably something involving their fallen sisters. What really cements the Night Sisters as terrifying isn't just their powers, it's their entire culture. They live on Dathomir, a planet bathed in blood-red light, covered in swamps and twisted forests where carnivorous creatures roam. The whole world feels wrong, like the physical realm and the spirit realm are too close together. Even Jedi who visit describe feeling the oppressive presence of the dark side everywhere. Their burial practices alone are disturbing. They don't cremate or bury their dead. Instead, they wrap them in cloth soaked in magical waters, seal them in pods, and hang them from thorn trees called grave thorns. These sisters aren't just resting, they're waiting. The relationship between Night Sisters and Night Brothers is equally unsettling. The men live separately as warriors, completely subservient to the witches. When the Night Sisters need someone, whether as a champion, an assassin, or a sacrifice, they simply choose. No consent, no choice. Savage Opress never had a say. Their isolation bred secrecy, paranoia, and intensity. For centuries, they stayed hidden, and when they finally emerged, no one knew how to deal with them. Not the Jedi, not Dooku, not even the Sith. And then, they fell. When Mother Talzin's revenge plot failed, Dooku didn't just retaliate. He brought General Grievous and an entire droid army. The Massacre of Dathomir was swift and brutal. A civilization that survived for thousands of years was erased in a single night. Only a few survived. Ventress, Merrin, Morgan Elsbeth, and possibly the Great Mothers. What makes it tragic is that their destruction came from loyalty. Mother Talzin broke their ancient isolation to protect one of their own, and that decision doomed them all. So what makes the Night Sisters so terrifying? It's everything combined. Their alien connection to the Force, their horrifying abilities, their culture, and the fact that they present something neither Jedi nor Sith ever truly understood. They weren't heroes. They weren't simple villains. They were survivors wielding ancient magic on a nightmare planet. And they were dangerous enough that Emperor Palpatine himself felt compelled to erase them. The Night Sisters remind us that the Force is bigger than lightsabers and meditation. There are older powers, darker rules, and sometimes the scariest threat isn't the evil you understand, it's the power that follows logic completely foreign to you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, like the video and subscribe for more Star Wars lore. And let me know in the comments, what's your favorite Night Sister moment? Are you excited to see the Great Mothers return? I'll see you in the next one. May the Force be with you. Or maybe in this case, may the magic